Team Marker, Flight Risk Review, guys. Get right to it. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan680, guys.
I'm Angela at that Cali Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. You know what to do, guys. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk page. And thank you for making us a part of your day. What are we talking about today, Angela? January.
Are talking about, it is almost the end of January.
Yep.
And as we come to a close, we have one more action-packed movie for you. Another one to add to the docket. We are reviewing Flight Risk today. Flight Risk, a pilot transports an air marshal accompanying a fugitive to trial. As they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested, as not everyone on board is who they seem. So going into this, I will say I didn't really know too much about it, except that Mark Wahlberg was in it because his face is like on the main poster, which I'm always like Mark Wahlberg and all he does. He's done action before. Yeah. So I didn't really know what to go into this, but coming out of the theater, my initial reaction, I would say, wasn't the best. Like, it was an okay film in my opinion. I know you have said Mark Wahlberg has done the villain before, but I don't know how he did this time. I don't know if it was like the bad costuming or maybe just the story in general, but I was a little disappointed coming out of this, I have to say. What do you think?
Yeah, so this, the month of January has been a film for a bunch of films. It's like, it didn't feel like January to me, I'll be honest. It felt like, okay, these are medium style films and everything. Usually it's worse than what it is and everything. And nope, we get to this movie and it feels like January all over again because of this film and everything. One of the things I do want to point out, of course, is the fact this is a Mel Gibson directed movie. I did not know that until I want to say at the end of the movie. I was like looking up the credentials and seeing who did the produced, who directed, story, all that stuff. Typically, I do that at the end of the movie. And so I was like, what? Mel Gibson? Like, this guy did Oscar-winning movies, Oscar-nominated movies, Hacksaw Ridge, Braveheart,
Passion of the Christ.
And Passion of the Christ. He's only done 4 directorial movies, and this is his 4th one. And I'm just like, wow, what the... I was very shocked. I was just like, the quality of it, too, again, we go back to where, like, it talks about, like, the technical aspect of it. We saw a movie not too long ago that talked about the lighting and everything. That was like not the case here. Everything was CGI for the most part.
Because they're on the plane.
Yeah, they're on the plane and everything. So, but I don't know. I didn't enjoy this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I hate to say that because I'm just like, I really the only point of the film was the fact that you can really tell, like, Mark Wahlberg's like forehead, all of it's just it's all prosthetic. It's just really bad.
Which we know, obviously, because Mark Wahlberg has it's nice head of hair. But I mean,
you see different actors, you see different people. You go back to like the Penguin, with Colin Farrell. You cannot tell it's Colin Farrell. But again, it's more prosthetics, right? Obviously. But in this case, though, I don't know. I feel like you could have done a different route. Even the story outcome. The story is very poorly executed. The jokes are flat. Like, I wasn't... There's a lot of jokes in here, and it's not a comedy by any means, but it felt like it was trying to do action comedy, and it did not succeed with me as far as I can tell. But Topher Grace here, Mark Wahlberg, and Michelle Dockery, she was good. I mean, all of them 3 were not bad. It's just, for me, it was story. The way it played out, everything was just too predictable. Everything was just like too cheesy. Even the action was cheesy. Certain moments where I'm not going to mention any spoilers, but like certain moments were just too cheesy and very too predictable, especially with not giving us the full in depth of the story of why they're on this flight risk. And they kind of give us just the what do you call it? Like the very small
like an abridged summary version of it.
Yeah,
like a very short.
But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't bring us context into the full aspect of who the villain is, per se, and like how they're against the law and everything. So it doesn't really go in depth on that. And I really wish it could have. I wish it would have gone a little bit more in depth, and also would have really exceeded more on the climax of the movie.
I think the point of the movie is that I think it kind of relates to everyday life, where in our real life there are very powerful people who may not do the most up and up stuff, you know what I mean? Some sage stuff. And you really don't know how far their reach extends. And I think that was also a big point of the movie where we saw that they have, reaches in places you may not suspect. And you kind of see that because of, power does that and it has that capability. And yeah, you're right. I would have liked to learn a little bit more about the real villain.
Yeah.
But you know what? I get it. It wasn't the main point. But I will say I didn't agree with a lot of some of the choices that were made. Like I said, that toupee, Mark Wahlberg. I don't get what that added to the film.
And it's more choices on It's more choices on the production side versus like it goes back to where like the idea of this movie, before this movie started filming and everything, who thought this was going to work? Like, it just makes me question.
And it's not going to question because there have been very intense movies that have been filmed strictly on a plane.
I'm just surprised it was Mel Gibson. That's
right. So again, there was just some small little choices here and there. The story could have been a little bit better. No fault on the actors. Like, we love Topher Grace. We love Mark Wahlberg. Michelle Dockery did great.
Mark Wahlberg has done okay. He's done more of in his recent films.
But he's done action.
He's done a lot more biopics than anything. He did that Father Stew, which wasn't bad.
He's not a stranger to action.
Yeah, of course not.
He's done action before. But again, like I don't know. It wasn't all meshing as much as I wanted it to, because again, we really like the cast. I know I just looked it up right now. Leah Remini is the agent on the phone.
Gotcha.
That we never see her face, but I know her voice sounded familiar, and I couldn't pinpoint it. But not faulting the actors, but I do wish it had a different direction a little bit. Maybe a stronger story. I just think it needed to be a little bit more cohesive in the long run. So I walked away from the theater kind of not with the best takeaway. I was a little disappointed. I really hope people do still give it a chance, because maybe your view is a little bit different than ours.
I think so.
It is an action movie. Like, you will be entertained. Don't get me wrong. But I do wish it just was a little bit stronger. That's just my opinion.
I'm gonna piggyback off that as well. I feel like the dialogue in this movie was just poorly done. The dialogue that was written for this film was poorly done. I feel like that they're just chunks of words that are just poor. They're poorly, it goes back to where like the filmmaking aside of it, the more like I expected more out of this movie because of the actors and because of like Mel Gibson. You expect because of his film resume, and it's just like, wow, what the heck? Like, it's shocking.
He's capable of doing very strong films.
Spontaneous, fantastic cinema, and I'm just like, wow, this is what we got. And after the fact, I was like, I thought this was a first time directorial of a director, and it's not. I was just wow.
And not to say
someone who's been in the business for so many years.
And not to say that first time directorials have to always be quote unquote bad films.
No,
but we've seen several that's their first movie, and it's blown out of the water. It's out of the park, knocked out of the park. Yeah. But for someone who has a really stacked resume like Mel Gibson, like he's done these films in the past that are really great. He's been in countless movies. Again, in our personal opinion, it was just a little bit of a letdown. I do hope you guys still give it a chance and let us know what you think. But for us, it just didn't quite hit the mark.
What do you give rating, Angela?
I probably would give it like a 4.
Oh, damn.
Again, nothing wrong with the actors. I really enjoyed them. I love seeing Topher Grace get out there. I really want to see him in a lot more films. I love him so much. But I do think it wasn't the best of films. Like you said, it was a little bit predictable. Wasn't some of the action sequences, they were okay, not too bad, but it could have been better. But just overall, I think it could have been a stronger film, so I would stick with the 4, just personally.
I'm gonna do 4.5. We're sticking around the same ballpark and everything. I wanted to really enjoy this movie to a certain aspect, but again, we go back to where like it's just the word choices were poorly executed, and just a lot of it was just I feel like the screenplay was just chunks and chunks of just trying to, I don't know, a lot of it wasn't mixing well in the ingredients, if you will, in this formula and everything. I just did not enjoy this movie. I enjoyed Topher Grace at certain points. I'm very iffy, and it doesn't save
Eric
the movie.
From That 70s Show.
Yeah, that's probably why, because I love That 70s Show, and I grew up with that.
I think that's his style of comedy, though. I do think so.
Yeah, I don't know. It goes back to where like I was very mixed, and but for sure I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 10 just because I didn't love it. I mean, it's gonna be a very forgettable movie in my point of view, and it is what it is. But we'll leave our ratings right there, guys. Since we're giving a below rating, Do we think this film we deserved? I'd say no.
Probably not.
But
We still recommend you check it out. Like I said, you may have a different opinion than us. It still is at the very end of the day an enjoyable film. Like if you like action,
if you love action,
I'll go all for it. It's not a terrible trash movie, but could have been better, sure.
Yeah.
But again, we do hope people get into the theater, get your butts in those seats, and give it a try.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of your day. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan 680.
I'm Angela at that Kelly Ange.
And see you at the movies, guys. Latest.